Hi guys and welcome back. How are you all doing today? Good, bad, somewhere in between. So today I am redoing a video. I haven't posted it, but I ended up not liking how it turned out, so I'm filming it one more time. So as you know, today it is a Monday and usually I post a vlog on Mondays, but I don't always do stuff, so I don't want to like post same thing over and over again of me editing, cleaning, working out, going to get a coffee every single day. So that's the reason why today I'm doing a sit-down video. And today I am making 10 tips about traveling to make your traveling days a little bit better when it comes to flying. So as some of you might know, I work as a flight attendant. And I have seen it all. I've seen quite a lot. So I thought I will give you guys some tips and hints that might make it a little bit more smoother for you, especially if you don't travel that much. So I have 10 points that I have written down, but I might change it up. And today I look tired and I look pale, I know, but I have been awake since 5 AM this morning. I am in a hotel, as you might see, because I am on a stop. I have a stop today. I have a layover in Bergen, so that's the reason why I'm in a hotel room. So if I have a couple more points after those 10 points, I will share them with you if I remember them while I'm talking. So, alright, let's just do this. I am so tired, I can see it. I'm so pale. That might be because of the light outside as well. I'm using the lights from outside, so alright, anyway, so point 1, or tip number 1, luggage. Alright, so hand luggage is one of the biggest issues we have when we're flying, because some people bring so much, incredibly much. So it's different, of course, from airline to airline, what the rules are. But I would recommend always to make sure you're following the rules before you go on board. Because for example, the one I work for, you have one that you can put on the overhead compartment, and then you have one that you can put under the seat in front of you. Or of course, if you have two smaller items that might fit under there, that's fine. But you're not supposed to put more than one item in the overhead compartment. And even if it's just one item, sometimes it might not be enough, because it's not, especially for 737-800, it's not meant for 186 passengers to have a luggage each. So sometimes the luggage might be sent down, and if they do, it's no point in arguing, but if you do have a connecting flight or something like that, let the flight attendants know, so that they don't send it down and you're like, well, where's my luggage? Because when it gets sent down, it gets sent to the luggage belt. Of course, that also depends on what airliners are flying with, so always ask them, is it going to be sent down to the luggage belt, or is it going to be here when we land? Because if it gets sent down and you will have a connected flight, that might cause an issue, especially if you have a short time. And yeah, so remember to follow the rules, because it do create a lot of issues, and sometimes even the plane is delayed because of the hand luggage. So, and make sure that your luggage actually fits in the overhead compartments, and don't start to argue if the flight attendant says that's a little bit too big, and you're like, no, it's not. I had it last time I'm flying. Well, it's not really, doesn't really fit, does it? And if you do have a jacket, make sure the jacket is on top of other luggage, because the jacket actually takes up so much space, so it's better to have it on top of either your own or other luggage that's already in there. And of course, if you have the possibility to check it in, perfect. But if you do check it in, don't have your computer in there. The computer, I think maybe even cameras, you're not even allowed to like check in, but it's better to have your like computer or cameras, phones, things that you're a little bit afraid of. It is better to have them on board. And then of course, if it does get sent down, make sure you take out all the pills and computers and money and everything you need there and then, and things you are a little bit scared of. I would recommend to bring it with you. Another thing, like, of course, like if you're traveling far for like 10 hours, something like across the globe, I always recommend do have like a smaller luggage with you that you can have maybe an outfit or something that in case your luggage get lost, so you're not stuck without anything. Yes. 2. Time. So when you're booking your ticket, of course they have like a minimum time, or a minimum time you can have. I think it's 45 minutes or something in between, 45 to an hour when it's out of the country, and I think it's like 35 minutes to 45 minutes when it's within the country. I always recommend having more than that, especially during winter. Just because it's de-icing and bad weather and stuff like that, stuff happens. So I always like to have more time in between my flights than I actually need, just because it's so annoying when you lose your flight. And of course I do recommend buying a ticket with one airline the whole trip, and having like book the whole trip in one go. Because if you book it separately, then you don't have any rights really if something were to happen, if you're delayed or cancelled or stuff like that, so you don't make a next flight. But if you have your whole connecting flight and everything is like booked in one transaction, then you have all those rights. But if it's booked separate between separate airlines that doesn't work together, then you don't really have the rights if that aircraft is delayed. Number 3. Food. So here's the thing. So sometimes people eat a lot when they're traveling, and sometimes they don't eat anything whatsoever. And that you can see when you're flying up in the air. Sometimes they have enough food and sometimes they don't have enough food. So I always recommend not being super hungry when you go on board, and especially if it's not like pre-order meals and stuff like that. If it's just like a shorter trip where you can't pre-order food, I recommend not to be like super hungry, because if just in case all the like food is sold out, of course the snacks might be left, but that might not be enough for you to feel full. So that's why I always recommend not being super hungry when you go on board an aircraft that is not like pre-order meals, because sometimes we run out, and when you run out, we run out. It's not possible to get anything else because we're up in the air, so unless you want us to land. Number 4. Cash, credit card. What should I use? So more and more airlines now prefer to use a credit card, and I recommend using a credit card as well. It's just a lot easier, and sometimes you might be traveling with an airline that's not from where you're traveling to, or where you're traveling from, so they might not take the currency that you're using, and they also might not take cash whatsoever. So I do recommend having a credit card with you, and there is some credit cards that you don't take when you're up in the air. You don't take Electron, for example. We are not able to take it. I think it has something to do with it doesn't charge when you're up in the air, so that's the reason if you have an Electron, you're not possible to use that up in the air. Of course, sometimes airlines do have you can pay cash, but I always recommend paying as exact as possible, because we don't have a lot of change at work. Number 5. Cleanliness. Is that the correct word? I think so. So sometimes people forget where they are. I think don't clip your toenails, for example. It's just no. And if you have a child with you or baby, use the restrooms to change the diapers, because there's always a changing table in the bathroom. Just ask the flight attendant if you're not sure where it is or how to use it. It's a lot better to use the bathrooms. It does have, even though you have something to cover, it's just more, it's a bit like, it's a little, yeah, it's just a cleanliness for everyone else gonna sit there afterwards, and you never know what's gonna happen, so do go to the bathroom, and you can't take the diaper and throw it in the regular trash. It has to be thrown in the rubbish at the in the bathroom. And yeah, I also recommend when you go into the bathroom, have shoes on. Because sometimes people don't know how to hit the toilet. They hit everywhere else when they're trying to pee. So people throw up and everything, and of course you try to clean as well as possible. but I recommend having shoes with you, because it is like, it's clean, but sometimes people do miss when they're peeing. So have shoes on, or at least socks. So, and when it comes to cleanliness as well, leave the place as you would want to see it coming in. So some people leave it as they have been there for 10 hours straight without any possibility to throw away their garbage, and it's nuts everywhere, it's rubbish, and food has been like stamped onto the ground. Clean it up a little bit and just show a little bit of respect towards the flight attendant that they actually have to clean it afterwards most of the times. Of course, sometimes we have like a cleaning crew coming through, but that doesn't always happen. For example, for us, when we finish deboarding, we clean the aircraft, we take up all the trash and everything, and then we board the aircraft again. So this is done like in 20 minutes maybe. Half an hour, 20 minutes. So leave it as you want to see it when you come there. And kind of act like, yeah, just respect it a little bit. Like, you don't need to throw the rubbish on the ground. If you leave something, of course, just leave it in the seat maybe. And if you spill all your M&Ms on the ground, pick it up again and stuff like that. Just treat it as your temporary home with respect. Number 6, preparations. So this comes for a little bit of everything. Prepare before you're traveling, make sure you have all your passport and everything. I also want to say passport, documents, clothing, and everything you need for a journey, or medication and stuff like that. But I also would say that goes for when you're gonna leave the aircraft, for example, when you're going down, when you're landing. For example, when you, for our airline, Norwegian, when you hear the ding ding, that means it's 20 minutes left. Do you see the seatbelt sign go off? The seatbelt sign goes on and off again. That usually is the 20 minutes mark, like ding ding, you know, the seatbelt sign sound. That means it's 20 minutes left. This is a perfect time for you to maybe look around if you need to throw something away, or take your seatbelt on and take your seat back up and stuff like that. Just everything that you need to do before you're landing. Or if you have children with you, make sure they maybe wake them up a little bit so they're not like super grumpy when we're coming through and have to fix everything. Because when we're coming through, it's usually 10 minutes left, so you don't have a lot of time to go through. So like, make sure they have the seatbelt on, and if they're sitting on your lap like infants, make sure you have the seatbelt on there. And if they're over 2 years old, they're not allowed to sit on your lap, and for example, stuff like that. Just so you're a little bit prepared for before you're landing. It helps out so much, and we don't have to wake you up. Number 7, fun fact: you are not allowed to drink brought on board alcohol. Nobody knew, right? So here's the thing, you might be wondering why can't I drink that alcohol that I bought in tax-free? Well, the reason is for that. As a flight attendant, you have a certain responsibility for everyone on board, and you react a little bit differently to alcohol than what you do on the ground. It has something to do with the pressure and everything, and so it's just your body sometimes reacts a little bit differently to the alcohol. And if you have drank like a whole bottle of whiskey, but we don't know, we only know that you've been drinking 2 beers, we're not able to like have a little bit of control that they might be needing, and you might get a lot more drunk. It's just not, you don't bring your own food to the restaurant. It's kind of like that. Like, you are allowed to bring food, of course, when you're flying, that's no problem, but you're not allowed to bring, well, unless you're flying into certain countries that you have like laws against what you're allowed to bring in. But alcohol, you're not allowed to drink it on board, even though you bought it in tax-free and has like this perfect small bottle size. But it's just the fact that it's just a law. That's just how it is. It's a law. You're not allowed to drink brought on board alcohol, because and the thing is, a lot of people, they think we don't see it, but we usually do. I have told so many people, yeah, that you're not allowed to drink that. And when you book a ticket, you are signing that you are that you know that you're not allowed to drink alcohol on board. So when you tell us, oh, I didn't know, it's kind of like, well, you didn't sign it. But I understand that people not everyone know because they don't fly that much. But now you know, now you do. You're not allowed to drink alcohol when you are allowed to drink brothable alcohol on the aircraft. You can buy, of course, on board. Number 8, entertainment. So here's the thing, we travel further and further than we've ever done before, and of course usually we do have the entertainment on board, but sometimes the entertainment doesn't work, it happens, and like Wi-Fi doesn't always work, it happens as well. Fun fact, if you fly in Norwegian, if you see a little green light by the exit signs in the front, that means it's working. The Wi-Fi is on. So tiny little green lights by the exit signs in the front. And yeah, so I always recommend download maybe a movie on your tablet, computer, phone, podcast, music, have a book with you, because even though you think you might have entertainment, that might not work, and it's so boring sitting there without doing anything for like 8 hours, I think. 9. Feeling ill. Alright, hear me out. It happens all the time. You feel ill, you might be a little bit dizzy, and a lot of people, instead of telling the flight attendant, they might be a little bit embarrassed, they go to the bathroom. But if you do feel ill, might tell the flight attendant. It's just better it happens. If you throw up, let the flight attendant know, especially if you're throwing up on the floor. It happens all the time, we're used to it, but it's just a lot better to know it straight away. And that also thing, like if you have illness or something that you need to medication, please remember your medication, double check that you have your medications with you so that you can use them if you get ill. Just because sometimes your body just reacts differently when you're up in the air. And we have people that pass out all the time, and if you pass out, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. But if the flight attendant tells you to go to the doctors or the ambulance person is coming and pick you up, don't argue about it. It is just for your own safety. Number 10. Alright, here's one thing that I think every single airline says every single day, 10 times when you're flying. Do not smoke on board. I just wanted to include this because, you know, people still do it sometimes, and it's just, it's really dangerous, and you will get in a lot of trouble. And you get a lot of trouble, and it's not any point. Don't smoke on board. I don't have anything else to say about that, just don't smoke. You get in so much trouble if you do. And by the way, if you're wondering why is still like the smoking thing there still, you know, on the door, you can put your cigarette in. Well, it's there because people still smoke sometimes. Because people are idiots sometimes. And they don't listen and they smoke on board. And where are you gonna put it? Where are you gonna put it? Well, that's the reason why we have it there. Because people do stupid things, and that's the reason why we have to have stupid things there. Alright, so I think that was all my points that I have on the list right here. So, let me see if there's anything else. But of course you have to respect people that works in retail or tourism. It's easy to, like, when you are delayed and stuff like that, is you get annoyed, but you have to remember these people are working the amount that time that you are delayed. They are also a little bit delayed, so they are working more hours, and they might be a little bit tired because they've been working so long that day and they're trying their best. So just remember to respect the people that is working that day. That might be a lot of delays, especially because of the weather and stuff like that. Respect the people around you. That just goes in general, I think, for everything. And allergies. People travel even though they have allergies, you know. And the most people that knows about, like, is they might be allergic to peanuts, of course. So if people, they say on the intercom, somebody is traveling that allergic to peanuts, and you're like, oh, it doesn't matter, I'm gonna still eat. Don't do it. Like, please don't. Like, the air in the aircraft that circulates around, so even though you're all the way in the front, the person in the back might be allergic, might still actually feel it because of the circulation of the air. And but it's not only peanuts, we also have perfume. I'm not saying don't use perfume whatsoever, I'm just saying use it moderately. You realize you don't use half the bottle of spray because you want to smell good, because sometimes that another person actually might have an allergic reaction to that perfume because it's so much. And then you have to land, it's going to be delays and all that stuff. So when perfumes and aftershaves and stuff like that, it has a lot of smell. Have it in moderate. Use it just moderations. Use it in moderations, and make sure that you might not have the strongest perfume or aftershave when you're flying, or in general. The thing is, I think a lot of people forget, like when you do the safety demonstration, you're not allowed to actually stand up. Just yeah, you know, we've seen the safety demonstration so many times, but trust me, we have seen it more. Just watch it, and then when you're up in the air, then you can stand up when the seatbelt has been switched off. Do I sound like a flight attendant right now? By the way, I just forgot to mention that if you have a connecting flight or something and you have really short time and you're scared you're gonna lose it, or if you have a question, it's better to ask it when you're up in the air than when you're on the way out of the aircraft. Because the flight attendant have more time to answer questions when you're up in the air than when you're walking out of the aircraft. Alright guys, I think that's gonna be all. It's a lot longer than I've expected this video to be. I want to do a Q&A video soon, so if you have any questions about me, about my YouTube channel, about traveling, about dyslexia, about anything whatsoever, feel free to ask them in the comment section below, and I will include them in my Q&A video soon. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys hopefully soon. Bye bye!